Hi everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Anastasia and I'm the owner and founder of VegShe Health and Wellness. For those of you who are returning, I'm glad to have you back. So today we're going to be talking about life off of the udder. And I'm going to try and keep this short because I do have a longer webinar coming up in the next couple weeks about this, but I have so much to say about dairy that it's really difficult. So I've taken some notes and I'm going to try and keep it brief. So number one, dairy and the dairy industry, it's particularly cruel and terrible. I think a lot of people are just not aware of this. So quickly, I'll try and go over this. Number one, a female cow is artificially inseminated, and then she gives birth to her calf. Her calf is then taken away from her, and then she's hooked up to machines for her milk to be pumped and then sent out to grocery stores. Her calf is then fed like a milk alternative, sort of like a baby formula. And then the calf will be killed and used for meat. The mama cow, who will never see her baby again, will continue this process of becoming impregnated, giving birth, losing her baby, and being pumped of her milk until she's not producing enough milk to be worthwhile, according to the companies that produce milk, and then she will be killed. So I hate to breeze through that because I do think it's really important for you to think about each step of this process. But the important thing to know is that this industry is incredibly cruel, and it just doesn't, for me, feel worth it just so that you can have cheese. It just doesn't make sense to me, but that's just how I feel about it. I'm gonna let you make your own decisions. So number one, it's incredibly cruel. Number two, the dairy industry and the animal agriculture industry in general is not sustainable. It's killing our planet. So first off, it takes 1,000 gallons of water to produce 1 gallon of milk. 1,000 gallons of water to produce 1 gallon of milk. So I'm not great at math, but I do get the feeling that maybe that just isn't equating. Secondly, for animal agriculture in general, we are using up 45% of the land on Earth. That's almost half of the land on Earth. Also, doesn't feel sustainable to me. I'm gonna leave that up to you to decide. Another thing too, just because of the amount of cows that we're breeding and producing all of the time, cows produce 150 billion gallons. I have this written down because I couldn't believe this. 150 billion gallons of methane a day. So for those of you who are familiar with global warming, you can see how this could be potentially problematic. Moving on to the health implications. Number one, dairy is incredibly addictive. And I'm sure you know that because you're probably one of the many people that I know or that exists in this world who says, oh, I could probably go vegan, but I don't think I could give up cheese, right? There's a reason for that. So dairy contains casomorphines, and they trigger a response in the brain similar to the way drugs do. And so when you ingest dairy, you kind of get dairy high, right? And you become addicted. So for me personally, I don't like anything that has that much of a hold on me. I recently gave up caffeine and I don't drink. And so to me, anything that has the potential to become addictive is not super appealing. I like to feel a little more in control of what's going on in my body. That's just me personally. Also, dairy increases your risk for certain cancers. It definitely can trigger acid reflux, ulcers, IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. There are tons of things that are triggered by consuming dairy. In addition to that, 65 to 70% of the population on Earth can't process dairy anyway. So if you're anything like how I was lactose intolerant, and I was consuming cheese like a maniac. And so I was constantly bloated and gassy and uncomfortable and basically paying the price for my addiction to cheese. Giving it up has been the most amazing thing. I almost never have an upset stomach. It's been life-changing. So I definitely encourage people to even take 30 days, just give it up and see how you feel. You'd be amazed. I don't know anyone who's ever come back and said that it wasn't an amazing experience. So something to consider. Another thing too is it's very inflammatory. So consuming dairy can cause inflammation even in your bones. And if you're familiar at all with how inflammation affects the body, it can sometimes be a precursor to illness. So we want to limit inflammation in the body as much as possible. One other thing to consider as far as your health is concerned. Cow's milk contains baby cow growth hormones. And the purpose of those growth hormones is to help a baby cow go from being about 60 pounds to almost 2,000 pounds. So if you think about how much growth hormone is inside of this milk and what it's actually meant for, what do you think it's doing to your body? Like, is that going to help you reach your goal weight? Is that going to be overall the best thing for your body? Because I don't know about you, but I don't think my goal is to get to 2,000 pounds anytime soon. So just a thought. So with that in mind, and with all of those things to consider, I do want to recommend that you consider some of the better alternatives that are out there. So oat milk is my personal favorite. There's almond milk, even though it does require the use of a lot of water. Soy milk, cashew milk, macadamia nut milk, banana milk, avocado milk. I mean, there's just so many options out there. I think too, if you've ever tried a vegan cheese or a vegan milk that you didn't like, don't let that scare you. So I think just like with any other food products, there are some that really suck and then there are some that are really good. And I can't tell you how many friends have tried, I don't really want to name any brands, but have tried some products and then they've been immediately frightened of what it means to eat vegan cheese for the rest of their lives. And I'm here to tell you there are some amazing products out there. Miyoko's, for example, she makes fantastic aged cheeses that are vegan, as well as like European style butters that are amazing to cook with and bake with. There are some really great options out there and I'd be happy to make any recommendations. So if you comment or send me a message or email me, I'd be happy to talk to you about some of my favorites and maybe I'll do another video about that later. But that's definitely its own amazing category because I love trying new products. So that's my spiel about going udder free. I hope that this information has been helpful for you. If you liked it, hit that thumbs up button. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel and I will have a longer webinar available for you in a couple weeks. Thanks so much, everybody. Take care.